They cut my pension after 20 years, but the judge gave me everything back. The HR director slid a letter across the polished desk and said, "Be realistic, Tom. You'll never get that pension back. Not against us." For a week I believed him. For another I hated him. Then I decided to fight. Before I tell you how one buried clause flipped everything, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next story, and tell me where you're watching from. I'm Tom Harrison, 62, from Wichita, Kansas. For 2 decades I supervised crews at Midstate Fabrication. We kept the lines running, trained rookies, and trusted one promise that anchored the place: 20 years meant a pension, not a handshake. When my anniversary arrived I pictured a new roof before storm season, weekend fishing, and helping my daughter finish school. Instead HR called me upstairs. The office smelled like stale coffee and toner. The director barely looked up. Restructuring. Policy changes. He pushed the letter toward me. Effective immediately, defined pension benefits were terminated under the updated plan. I stared at my name, then at the signature that made it real. The letter pointed to policies I had never seen. My original contract was not retained under current records policy. In its place HR emailed a glossy PDF that never used the word pension. I filed an appeal, denied. I asked for benefits committee minutes, proprietary. My personnel file? Redacted. At home Ellen spread our bills across the table: mortgage, insurance, utilities, property tax. Without the pension we could last a year if the water heater didn't die and nobody got sick. She squeezed my hand, but I felt the gap, an empty square where the future should sit. On the floor the guys avoided my eyes. A supervisor muttered, "Let it go, Tom. They always win." I called 3 attorneys. 2 never replied. The third told me, if the plan changed, there's nothing to do. I sat on the porch and listened to freight trains stitch the night together like a zipper I couldn't close. A small memory kept tapping: orientation day, year 1. The benefits coordinator stapled a duplicate to our packet and said, "Keep this, it's yours." The duplicate wasn't white. It was yellow. I turned the basement upside down. Shelves, dusty banker boxes, the sticky drawer under the old printer. Nothing. Ellen found me in the garage, grease on my hands, staring at an empty space like it had stolen something. "Come in," she whispered. Morning brought stubbornness. I yanked the sticky drawer too hard and the whole thing slid out, papers tumbling across my boots. At the very bottom lay a packet with yellow edges and our old address. My heart climbed my throat as I flipped to page 6. In bold, employees completing 20 years of continuous service are entitled to full pension benefits. This clause is non-amendable. I read it twice, the word didn't change. Then I noticed a stapled memo from year 5, legacy employees retain non-amendable pension clause under original terms. Hope rose, thin as smoke, but at least it rose. I carried the packet into Myers and Hall employment law like a beating heart. The receptionist began to redirect me, but a woman in navy with a tote full of files paused. "I'm Linda Myers," she said. "If you've hauled paperwork that far, come in." Her office smelled of paper and peppermint tea. She read page 6, then the year 5 memo. "That's your bridge," she said, tapping the staple. "Non-amendable is a wall companies hate when they built it themselves." "Can we win?" I asked. "We can fight," she said. "Winning needs proof of continuous service and acknowledgement after year 1. We filed suit for breach of contract, wrongful denial of benefits, and bad faith administration." The company answered with thunder. Motions to dismiss. Consultants with diagrams about sustainability. Declarations about dynamic market conditions. Discovery turned into trench work. We asked for early minutes, they claimed archives. We subpoenaed, they sent PDFs that all looked newly born. Linda's associate, Marcus, built an index, line by line. If it existed, he said, it left a footprint. 2 weeks later he called, words quick with caffeine. The production log referenced a physical binder, Legacy Benefits AK, stored off-site. We subpoenaed the storage vendor directly. The company objected and lost. An hour before the deadline, a courier dropped a battered 3-ring binder on Linda's desk. Inside, plastic sleeves and minutes in blue ink. Minute 7B read, for employees hired under the 20-year legacy plan, the pension provision remains non-amendable. Future changes apply prospectively to new hires only. The company moved to exclude the binder as hearsay. Linda filed a response thick with business records exceptions. The judge admitted it provisionally. Air returned to my chest. The courtroom looked like civics class, wood, flags, a clock too loud. Their table gleamed with navy suits and certainty. They opened by calling me confused, a man clinging to promises from another era. Linda kept our theme short, a written promise kept workers loyal, it cannot be erased. They called the current HR director. He performed controlled amnesia. I can't speak to historical intent. Plans must remain flexible. He would not say the word pension. On cross, Linda pointed to non-amendable and asked, does flexible mean the opposite of this word? He smiled. Context matters. They called a benefits expert who drew boxes around boxes and said sustainability 6 times. Jurors frowned at the slides, not at me. When I took the stand I told the truth plain, orientation day, the yellow packet, supervisors who said, put in your 20. On cross the company's lawyer found his rhythm. Mr. Harrison, did you sign later acknowledgments? Yes, for health and dental. So you knew benefits can change? Not this one, I said. It said non-amendable. That's why we stayed. After lunch Linda called Karen Wells, retired HR, whose initials dotted the old minutes. She sat straight and took the oath. Do you recognize these minutes? Linda asked. I typed them, Karen said. What did non-amendable mean? Exactly what we told folks like Tom. If you gave 20 years, we couldn't take the pension away. We could change terms for new hires, but not for legacy employees. Objections arrived and fell away. On cross the defense tried patience. Do you recall every meeting word for word? No, she said, but I recall the ones about livelihoods. Isn't it possible the committee intended flexibility? She smiled. We spent an hour debating whether to capitalize the word. Flexibility wasn't the intent. A ripple of laughter moved through the box. The judge tapped his gavel, hiding a smile. By day 3 the company moved for a directed verdict, calling our case sentimental. The judge said, denied. Linda recalled the HR director and put my termination letter on the projector. She zoomed into the tiny footer nobody reads, a chain of file paths and initials. This shows your shared drive and user RR policy created this a week after Mr. Harrison crossed 20 years. Correct? He adjusted his tie. Draft logs are normal. She clicked to the updated plan PDF. Same day. Same path. Same initials. Batch updates, he said thinly. Linda lifted a printed email thread produced after the off-site subpoena, the benefits manager to the director, legacy binder surfaced. We need to adjust the packet before employees like Harrison notice. His reply, do it. We can handle optics. The senior partner stood, objected again, and lost. Jurors leaned forward. It wasn't an amendment, Linda said quietly to the box. It was a cover-up. The director tried a weary shrug, unfortunate wording. Unfortunate is spilling coffee, Linda said. This was stealing a man's retirement and hoping he didn't keep his copy. Closing was brief. Promises are bridges, Linda told them. Tom put 20 years on this one. The company tried to pretend the bridge was never built. Don't let them. The jury was out 42 minutes. Verdict for the plaintiff on all counts. The order read, full pension reinstated, back payments, $75,000 in damages, and attorney's fees. The judge added, a promise written clearly is not a suggestion. My knees went weak. Ellen squeezed my hand until my fingers tingled. Outside, the director hustled past cameras. We stopped at the credit union so a teller could say congratulations like she meant it, then ate pie at the diner with sticky menus. Old coworkers called that night. One said, you saved more pensions than yours. Another texted a photo of his own yellow packet. I put my packet and a copy of the minute page in the fireproof safe with our passports and labeled the box promises. The money mattered, we paid the roofers and booked Ellen's appointment, but dignity healed more. I bought a tackle box with drawers that opened smooth. On Sunday evening we sat on the porch and listened to a train a mile away. The sky went the soft blue that forgives. A week later a man from another plant left a voicemail, he'd found the same clause. I called him back with Linda's number and felt a quiet pride. So no, I wasn't realistic. I was stubborn. I was tired. I was right. If the numbers don't add up tonight, check the drawer, the binder, the footer. Your 1% might be hiding where they assumed you'd never look. Subscribe to Lawful Payback, and I'll bring you another fight that ends with a gavel. Truth is stubborn, promises, once written, can still outlast power.